Let's take some fellow who's been reading space opera. I know, I like to read space opera. I've written a lot of it. As a matter of fact, they don't write it anymore. But this fellow just can't seem to keep his nose out of space opera, and he said, gee, I'd like to do that sometime in the future. When this civilization, when we get really geared up, and when we really get into the future, and when we really have spaceships, and when we really... And all this time he has this horrible burning sensation on the end of his nose, you know, and you can't quite account for that. But he's into space opera, but he's not in space opera, but he likes to read it, but it has a horrible effect on him. And well, the first time he can enjoy space opera is when he finds out he's been a rocket jockey for the last 18 dozen lives. No wonder he gets a burning nose. One of the favorite skills he had back in the early days of one of the space societies was shooting off dolls' noses. He didn't like to hurt them, he just singed their noses, you know. Fast draw. You wonder why all these guys are fixated on Western movies. Western movie is mostly a substitute for space opera, if you only knew it. It's space opera that's full of the fast draw and shoot 'em dead. Listen, human bodies are not bulletproof. I don't know if you've ever experienced that fact or not. Probably not in this lifetime, but you do have some evidence to this effect. If somebody stood up and pointed a gun at you, something in you would tell you that it would make a hole in you. Well, I wonder how you learned that. Not by watching Western movies, because they all die very cleanly and very calmly. Mostly. Except when they're being filmed with realism. Then they spatter a little blood on the fellow's shirt, you know, make him cough twice. Factually speaking, it takes a doll, if you please, a non-humanoid body to be able to stand up to firearms of that character. There isn't any reason you should be killed dead just because you're shot. There isn't any real reason why it should hurt very badly. You're afraid right now of traveling down an icy, slippery road at 110 miles an hour. You'd say that'd be a bum show. Why? If you were in a doll body, so it plows into the concrete abutment. And it dents up your new shirt. Next time you think of it, back at the base, while you're over to the armor and you say, hey, pound out my chest, would you? That's right, pound it up, smooth it up a little bit. The enamel's cracked there, too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's better. That's better. And you haven't learned not to go 110 miles an hour on icy roads, because there's no reason to learn it. It isn't a particularly dangerous activity. In the Marcab Confederacy, within the last 200,000 years, racing cars went 275 miles an hour and were turbine-driven. Everybody thinks a racing car should sound like a Marcab racing car. Just ask somebody, how should a racing car sound? Well, they don't say brrrr like an Earth racing car. They say, It's a Marcab racing car. They don't have any here on Earth. Everybody knows how it is. I wonder why they know this so well. Well, they were using meat bodies on some of that stuff, and boy, did they get messed up. Meat bodies. Imagine driving in racing cars like that. Practically cured everybody of driving, so nobody on Earth can drive.